O Plano Municipal para a Integração de Migrantes é um projeto que está a ser desenvolvido no concelho de Arganil e cujo principal objetivo é integrar a comunidade estrangeira que escolhe Arganil para viver, conhecê-la melhor e desenvolver iniciativas que também nos permitam aquilo que referi anteriormente, que é conhecer melhor estas pessoas, mas também promover a sua integração na comunidade, permitindo que a comunidade local as conheça melhor também. Esta é a segunda edição deste projeto, é um projeto financiado pelo Fundo de Asilo para a Migração e Integração e tem sido uma experiência muito gratificante conhecer melhor esta comunidade e perceber também o que é que o território pode efetivamente ganhar com ela.
Well, being on the Quinta makes me really quite happy, and we're very fortunate to live right next to the Fraga de Pena. I realized that the Fraga de Pena is the most glorious in the winter because it has all the water coming, just flowing right off of it. And that's really inspirational because it's just, magnificent to watch. My name is Erin Neelands, and I've come from Alaska originally. I was born in Alaska. I immigrated from the USA to the UK about 15 years ago, and I lived in the UK for that long. And then about 3 years ago, I moved here to Portugal. I was a teacher in the UK, and so I teach here as well, the local population. So I've got a singing class that I run with some of the teenagers here, and I also run a fine art class for some of the teenagers that do homeschooling here. Then I also make pottery, and I make pots for the pit fire, and I also make tableware for selling at markets. When I'm making something, I'm just focused on that, and I think what draws me to making things is that type of focus where there's absolutely nothing else going on in around me. I have no, I'm not conscious of what's happening around me. I'm just thinking of the material and what it's doing, and if it's being, difficult, and how to deal with that, and all the tools that I have. I feel like I'm in some kind of creative space that is very consuming. So what I'm feeling, I think, is just compelled to go there.
It's like a therapy session. It makes me relax. My name is Janne Lind Bowers, and I've been living in Arganil for 5 years. My mom lived here, so it was easier to come here. I was at school for artists. My hobbies are painting and drawing. I like dragons, and I paint abstract. I paint and draw what I feel like. I do it on impulse. That's mainly it.
Uma coisa que ainda me falta, que me faz muita falta, mas que também é questão de cultura, é a questão da cor. Acho que lá no Brasil a gente via muitas cores, muitas coisas coloridas, assim. Logo que cheguei em Portugal, que vi muito cinza, branco. E para mim as cores trazem alegria. Eu me chamo Josênia, mais conhecida como Jô, tanto aqui em Arganil como lá no Brasil. E eu estou em Portugal desde novembro de 2019. Desde criança eu gostava de desenhar e pintar. É um jeito que eu arrumei de lidar com a timidez. Eu sempre lidei com escola, arte na educação. Então eu trabalhava numa área de uma zona mais carente e ia de acordo com aquilo que os alunos queriam fazer e apenas orientando para que também não saísse do jeito deles e tal, porque a realidade não precisava ser totalmente retratada, né? Então algumas coisas a gente ia cortando para poder jogar um pouco da fantasia da arte também. O projeto já estava, né, sendo executado e eu fui convidada para fazer, na verdade, que é a parte final, que era a execução da ampliação do logotipo, que já estava pronto também, a gente ampliar isso na parede. E ao final, depois de tudo pronto, foi aquela comemoração, olha, foi uma coisa assim, muito bonita.
We've traveled a lot, been from India to Beirut, from Beirut to England, from England to Moscow, from Moscow back to London, London to Gambia, West Africa, back to England, went to France. From France, we've come to Portugal. My name is Teresa Coga. We've been living in Portugal since February 2020, I think. At the moment, I'm doing acrylic pours and blooms and swipes, and I'm really enjoying it. You know, I find it therapeutic. I have the time now because I'm retired, and the money to buy the paints and some of the materials. The pouring is all abstract. You never know what you're going to get after you've poured and tilted the canvas. It's amazing. That's what I like about the acrylic pours, because it's very, very different to, say, if you're doing watercolors like landscape or portraiture, whereas pouring is very different. I'm very happy. I'm never bored because, you know, apart from my usual housework and cooking, which can be a bit tedious sometimes, I can always retire in my room and watch a few YouTubes, and that's how I learn. You know, I'm self-taught in acrylic pours.
I mean, inspiration can come from the most surprising or unsurprising places sometimes. I'm very inspired by people and places, nature. So immersing myself in the natural world here has been really inspiring, and I love to dance outside in nature. My name is Tamsin Hurley, and I've been here in Arganil for 5 and a bit years. When we first embarked on this new life, coming to live in Portugal and live in a remote place, and really tried to connect with the earth and live from the land and learn about growing food. And I felt that I was leaving my dance behind. I never really imagined that it would be possible for me to continue that here. But then as I met people here, people began to ask me for the dance. So I began to give classes, and then opportunities arose for creative projects, and it's been really an interesting way of connecting with people until now, becoming part of the Trust Collective and integrating much more with the Portuguese community, with opportunities for performing in locations where the Portuguese local people will come as well, not just the foreigner community, and events that Trust are part of. So it's been really one of the key ways that I have found to integrate with people here. I love to dance with other people. I love community dance, social dance, dancing for fun, for enjoyment, for pleasure. Dancing with music, dancing for joy. But I also love dancing to feel my body, to feel alive, to feel an expression that is really true and honest. It's not imposed upon my body, it's just allowing my body to release or express whatever is there.
My name is James Coja. We've been in Arganil now for 3 years now, I think. It's all self-learned, yeah. I mean, I started back in 50 years ago now, when I was living in, well, I had cameras before then in the 60s and early 70s, and then I met some friends in Beirut where I was living at the time, who were keen on photography. So I bought myself a good camera and really went from there. And when we came back to England, we joined a club. So that was quite inspiring, did quite a lot of work with them. It's the creative side, I think. You see something that you like to photograph and you don't necessarily see exactly what's there. You think, well, that would be nice if I did this to it. So I quite often look at something and think, yeah, that would make a nice black and white picture, or the colours there are nice. And then what comes out of the camera for me is the starting point of processing on the computer. I'd like to be able to exhibit them somewhere. We used to do the club exhibitions in France, and I used to do competitions there and exhibitions, but I'd like to do something here, because you see quite a few people have exhibitions in the town hall, in the camera, so that would be nice.
My name is Hanneli Madsen, and I've been in Arganil for 5 years. I've been doing art for many years. Different countries, different art forms, from pottery to silk painting to watercolors to oil paints to abstract. I've changed, you know. In the beginning I used to paint animals, I used to do flowers a lot and all that, but now I just do abstract and I go for color. I love color. I put layers and layers of different colors, and for me a painting is important. It's about the color, and it brightens up a room. It just brightens your mood if you look at the painting with beautiful color. What I like the most is when it's finished. I'm very hard on myself, and sometimes you're never finished and you need to know when to stop. So when it's finished and I can see a place for it or somebody likes it as well, that I really like. My problem is to start painting. It's when I paint I really like it, but it's to start and to not wanting to do something else in the house or go somewhere else quickly, because then it breaks your pattern. It is when I start, I love it. And I can paint for hours then. I invited a group of ladies. They were all interested in painting pots, terracotta pots. So that's an easy thing for them to start with. Some of them has never painted before, but it was a very nice get together, and that is what we've been doing, painting. Wherever I've been painting with people, and that helps with integration. And definitely here in Arganil, I can see a lot of people would love to be part of this and do this. I think it would be very nice if there is a place where people can paint. Maybe people who's retired, maybe young students who don't have a class that day or just want to try out their art and their skills. It would be good.